Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Lake Effect Radio Station.
Lakeland Community College is your opportunity for a great education.
For high school graduates and adults starting an associate's or bachelor's degree.
For hundreds of students starting college while still in high school.
For parents wanting to save thousands on a college education.
For graduates in high-demand careers who keep our workforce strong.
And now, earn bachelor's and graduate degrees closer to home through the Holden University Center.
Lakeland is here for all of us.
Visit us today at lakelandcc.edu.
Do you need a break from reality? I mean, a serious escape. It's just a few steps away. Stop by the Gallery of Lakeland on the first floor of Building D to see just how far an unbounded imagination can go. The show, called Dreams and Visions, Surrealism and Fantasy Art, is going on now in the gallery. It features incredible pieces by 55 national, regional, and local artists. The show runs September 22nd through November 4th and is free and open to the public.
Hey, see
from reality? I mean a serious escape. It's just a few steps away. Stop by the Gallery of Lakeland on the first floor of Building D to see just how far an unbounded imagination can go. The show, called Dreams and Visions, Surrealism and Fantasy Art, is going on now in the gallery. It features incredible pieces by 55 national, regional, and local artists. The show runs September 22nd through November 4th and is free and open to the public.
Come join us on campus for the 4th annual Clock Tower Run. Enjoy a beautiful fall morning, Sunday, October 9th, while supporting scholarships for Lakeland students. This year, the 5K run will have chip timing. The 5K walk welcomes everyone, including leashed pets. Kids are invited to participate in the free Kids Dash. Registration can be completed online or download a registration form and return it by mail. The race starts at 8:30 a.m. at the Clock Tower. Registration opens at 7:30 a.m. All proceeds from the race will benefit the Lakeland Staff Association Endowed Scholarship Fund. Each year, the LSA awards scholarships to deserving students. $15 for students and walkers, $20 for runners prior to race day, and $25 on race day. The event includes t-shirts for the first 200 registered, refreshments and prizes for 5K men and women top finishers in each age group. Awards for the top 3 5K winners overall. Huge thank you to the sponsors and donors: Huge Body Mechanics, Therapeutic Massage, Burger Pie, Cardinal Community Credit Union, Corks Wine Bar, Giant Eagle, Great Harvest Bread, It's So You, Lake Health, Lake Metro Parks, Maloney and Novotny, Mars Electric, Menor Mitsubishi, Kia and Fiat, Parkside Church of Lake County, Petiti Garden Centers, and South Shore Controls. For more information, please contact Suzanne Spare at sspare@lakeland.edu, or you can call at 440-525-7492. Get ready, Lakeland, for the Clock Tower Run.
Very All right. Hello, Lakeland Community College. This is a special edition. It's Beyond the Question. I am DJ Grizzly, along with the boss, Matt Bossman, and JR.
What's up?
All right. The idea behind Beyond Question is supposed to be more of an argument-based sports talk idea. Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing we want to talk about was something that we talked about a few weeks ago when we last did this. And that was the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Which was, we had just heard that Adrian Peterson had, he was going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yep.
And we were going to say, the Vikings can't keep this up.
And I wish we had, when you watch the show, this show's supposed to be kind of like First Take or The Undisputed.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really wish we could do that they do when they have these kind of things come up again is a replay of when we talked last and what I said that you disagreed with.
We can't cut that, and we can't.
But we
cut
can't
that
really
in,
cut it. We could.
We can. But we have the technology here, but we just don't.
We just
can't
don't do it
that live.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I was wrong about
I was
Bradford
right
for right now.
Yeah.
We're still only a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah.
So the Vikings might have just as good a chance of the Browns going 0-16 as the Vikings have going 0-12 in the next 12 games. Who knows?
You never know. They stopped Cam.
It's like they play the game. There's a reason they play the games.
Yeah. So let's welcome Josh.
Yep. Hey, Josh.
DJ, JR.
What's going on, everyone?
And so what do you think about the Vikings? Right now, Vikings are undefeated. They have defeated Cam Newton and what seems to be diminishing Panthers.
Yeah.
They've beaten the Green Bay Packers with A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers. And so because of what's going on right now with the Vikings, is this a fluke or are they for real? What do you think?
Bossman, I think it's for real. I think they're going to go all the way, maybe make the playoffs, even potentially Super Bowl run.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that could be a real possibility. All right, so because we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And because, right now 4-0, the Browns could have started 4-0 for pretty much they could have.
Yeah.
Except a couple of games they got kind of messed up out of calls, but that's another topic for another story.
It's just
for another day.
Simple Browns football.
Yeah, simple Cleveland luck. Do we here we go. True or false? The Vikings will make the playoffs. Tom, we'll start with you.
I'll say true.
True? Josh?
Definitely true.
All right, I'm going to say true. Now, why do we think we all can agree on this? And why do we think that the Vikings are going to go to the playoffs? What about them makes them...
Oh, okay, so Tim Advisor guy is also joining our...
Oh, he's coming up?
No, he's in chat.
Oh, he's in the chat? And what did he say?
He's saying, I don't see them making the Super Bowl without Adrian Peterson.
Okay. Now, that's something interesting because, Adrian Peterson, he's a great running back. But I think when you have the targets that Sam Bradford has at wide receiver, okay, Treadwell, Diggs, these guys that really kind of go under the radar, they don't really stand out. But that's what a lot of teams, if you can remember the 2009 New Orleans Saints winning the Super Bowl, if you can remember, they didn't have a lot of big names other than Drew Brees.
Right.
And I kind of think Sam Bradford, like I said last time, he wants to make this team better. Mm-hmm. Maybe not just for Minnesota, but for himself. He wants that kind of reborn of the football spirit type thing happening this season, and I believe he can get it. I don't know if he'll go, like Josh, what you said, to the Super Bowl, but I do believe that they can go to the playoffs. What do you think? What do you think about? I mean, Josh, why do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Bossman, they have a great defense. They're dominating right now. I mean, if you look at what they're doing on the field, they're going after the quarterback, they're rushing, and they're really getting after him.
Yeah, I think their defense is a huge thing, but it's like they're playing as a whole, which is which is not something you see a lot. Like, you look at the Browns. Offensively, they're kind of getting it together a little bit, but the defense is non-existent.
Yeah.
And so, Terrell Pryor, really, right now, he's the captain of the team.
I agree.
With the way that the Browns are going.
Let's also look at it this way. Crowell is the second leading rusher in the league.
Yeah.
Which, going into this year, I don't think any of us would have seen Crow making anywhere near the top 5 in rushing.
Yeah. I didn't even think he would. I was surprised the other day. I was talking to my dad in the living room at my house, and I was like, you know what? I've been hearing all this stuff about Crowell. I got to look it up for myself. Yeah. So I did. He's number 1. Or he's number 2, tied with Zeke. Zeke is actually...
Oh, okay.
Zeke is number 1 in rushing yards.
Okay.
Crowell's tied with, I want to say, Devontae Freeman of the Falcons, but we could look that up.
Yeah, I'm looking up some of the... Where do I find stats? Come on now.
Stats.
Under stats.
Where it says stats.
Moron.
Yes.
All right, so tackles, rushing yards. Zeke Elliott, 312. Crowell, 394. Blunt, 352.
Blunt, yeah. And that makes sense, for LeGarrette Blunt, because they don't really have a quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback for the last few weeks. Now they do. Here's another topic. To get off of the Vikings, what are we going to see from Tom Brady this week against Cleveland? Are we going to see Tom Brady of old? A new Tom Brady that we haven't seen before? Or is something going to take a turn for the worst? What do you think, Josh?
I think it's going to be a little shaky at the start, but I think he'll pick up where he left off at.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a difference in the Tom Brady from before, because it doesn't seem like this kind of thing phases him other than his reputation. He wants that reputation of he had nothing to do with Deflategate, and you can argue that.
Yeah.
The courts prove that, yeah, he was involved. Not directly, but he knew about it.
Yeah.
And, I would say... I don't know what you...
Tim. Yeah, Tim's saying defense ski. Defense reminds me of last year's Broncos D.
Oh, the Vikings defense.
Okay. And then Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler were mediocre at best. Which is true. Which is true. Like, nobody wants to say that Peyton Manning is mediocre ever.
I wouldn't.
Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks ever.
I would say, okay, there's a thing that, and this brings up to a good point. Looking at the Broncos, okay, Trevor Siemian, he isn't, Peyton Manning.
No.
I wouldn't go to say that he's Brock Osweiler.
No.
Not at all.
He's not, he's probably on the same level of Josh McCown.
Okay.
So when you have him, now granted they do have targets in Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, Jordan Norwood, Benny Fowler the third. There's a lot of guys on that team that can make plays in the wide receiving core.
Yeah.
But that team is a perfect example of that defense wins championships. We saw it in the Super Bowl, but we knew Peyton Manning was there. And now we're getting it this year. They're 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead. So that's the other thing I want to ask. That's why I was looking up here at the standings. Where's standings?
Standings right there.
All right. So we are now down to 3 undefeated teams left.
Yeah.
We have the Denver Broncos 4-0, the Eagles at 3-0, and the Vikings at 4-0.
Yeah.
Which team is going to lose last?
I'm going to say the Broncos, because I think the way they have it set up, Gary Kubiak is showing that he can really be a dominant coach in this league.
Okay.
With the wide receiving core on the offensive side of the ball, it's icing on the cake for the defense. The defense can give up 13 points, and that offense is at least going to get 16, 20 points because they can. Because they have C.J. Anderson in the backfield. They have
all the targets that you were talking about.
They have all the targets in the wide receiving core, and they've got Simeon, who can throw the football. I mean, he's not Osweiler, he's not Manning, but he can throw the football. And with that coaching staff, the way that they're developing him into a quarterback, and the way that I think they're going to develop Paxton Lynch as well, I don't see this Denver team losing more than 4 games this year. I really don't see it, because I just think that they can repeat if that defense is, and this is very hard to do. The Broncos will repeat if this defense continues to play the way they're playing. It's
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Paulsman.
Yeah, it's
100%.
It's unreal the way they're playing right now.
All right. Yeah, so the other thing, I was looking at the standings here to see if there were any other winless teams besides the Browns. There aren't. The Browns are literally the only winless team.
That's okay with
in the
me.
NFL.
All right, so here's the thing to bring up about that. With the Browns being a winless team, obviously as fans, usually we're not okay with 0 wins in the win column. Do you think that losing north of 14 games this year and getting that number 1 draft pick is an idea? Because I think, looking at the way that it's going right now for the Browns, we could lose. Definitely, we could lose. We're going to lose to the Patriots this weekend. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's by 3 or if it's by 33, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. The Browns will find a way to lose.
Yeah,
always.
And no Josh Gordon on the team anymore. Looking at, with the Browns, who would you rather have at quarterback? You saw the Clemson Louisville game. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. Yeah. If you had to choose between those 2 quarterbacks, remember they still have Rosen out of UCLA. They have J.T. Barrett out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll leave immediately, but Mitch Trubisky is making a huge impact for North Carolina, beating Florida State last week in Florida State.
Another prospect I'm thinking about is Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. Not sure if he can come out yet, but
he can. I believe that he's a roller coaster in college, and I don't believe that that's going to be. I don't believe that that's going to help, because, you look at Russell Wilson when he was with Wisconsin. He wasn't anything spectacular with the Badgers.
Not necessarily, no.
No.
He was just looking for another a championship because he wasn't getting that at South Carolina.
Right. So. And so he did well
at NC State.
Yeah, he did well with Wisconsin, but that's college. He went to the right coaching. He went to the right system.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll develops guys like him.
Yeah.
And he did that.
It's like Pete Carroll, when he was at USC, was known as being a quarterback's guy.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think about compared to when everybody knows, the NFL and college are 2 different things. But with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson, if the Browns are going to pick a quarterback number 1 overall next year, who would you pick in that instance?
You know what? I would probably choose Deshaun Watson. He has the size, he has the versatility, he has some running game on him. He's different than Lamar Jackson, but he can definitely throw the ball and definitely make some plays out of the game.
Yeah, I think you look at someone who is more of a pocket passer. They're both mobile. They love to scramble.
I agree.
But I still think...
Yeah, Josh, can you push the mic? Yeah.
I believe that with Deshaun Watson, he's tall. He can throw the ball, stay in pocket, and when he's getting rushed, he can run. Lamar Jackson is a little bit different. Jackson reminds me more of Russell Wilson in the sense of running with the football.
Okay.
He has an arm. He's proven that. But is he a raw quarterback? Because Watson has more experience.
That's the thing. I feel like Louisville's offense allows for Jackson to utilize his skills a little bit better. But does that translate to the NFL? No.
No.
Not precisely. No. Like you can be an outrageous touchdown scorer as Lamar Jackson has been.
Yeah.
In college. It doesn't matter in the NFL.
But the one thing I found interesting about Lamar Jackson with Louisville is they were comparing him to Teddy Bridgewater. And Bridgewater can throw. He's a really good quarterback in the league. I mean, his job may be up for grabs now, but I think Jackson could play. I really do. If he goes to the right team, he could definitely he could be a quarterback. He could really do it in the NFL. I just don't know if that is going to happen. I don't know if he...
You know what, Bossman? I would actually have to disagree. I think Lamar Jackson, he has the size of Johnny Manziel. I mean, if you look at the two comparisons, they were both small. They didn't have the huge build. And you never know. Lamar Jackson can be just another bust.
He could be. If he came to Cleveland, I think he definitely would be. Mm-hmm. I trust Deshaun Watson a little bit more just because he has more experience. He's in a good system. The Clemson coaching, as much as I really don't like Clemson, I don't like the Tigers, tell you the truth, but I don't really like any ACC or SEC teams. But I still believe that Watson is in the perfect system for him. And if he goes to the NFL, he would have to get drafted to a team like Cleveland where he could be the man that he is in Clemson. Clemson doesn't have a bunch of targets. Neither do the Browns. The Browns have Terrell Pryor, who can relate to Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. Mobile quarterbacks. And Pryor can say, hey, you got to do the right things or you're going to end up like me, switching positions. You don't want to switch positions. You want to stay where you're at. That's what he failed to do. Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of working out for Pryor.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, Pryor, I feel like he has the desire to just play football, which is something that I quite frankly did not see out of Tim Tebow.
No, I didn't
at all. Tim Tebow wanted to play quarterback, and in the NFL, that's not going to work. You cannot want to just play just one position.
Tim Tebow wanted...
And actually, I was going to say this. Tim Tebow is the definition of a player who scores a lot of touchdowns in college, but his game doesn't translate to the NFL.
No, it doesn't. I think if he would have stayed with Denver and we would have seen what Tebow would have became with the Broncos, because had Peyton Manning re-signed with the Colts, which I was surprised that didn't happen. I was surprised Manning didn't choose a place like Arizona when he was deciding where to go, because there were a lot of teams interested in Peyton Manning at the time.
Yeah, it's like, why not go to just a warm place? Come on, Peyton.
Well, I think the way that John Elway runs his team, I think, the history of the quarterbacks in Denver really attracted Peyton Manning to that team.
Oh, yeah. That's another biggie.
Yeah, and I just think that when everything looks bad in Denver, Peyton Manning knew that he was looked at as the savior of that team, and he had the pieces of the puzzle to do it. Same with Simeon. He has the same pieces that Peyton Manning had.
And Tim was asking me what Manning's stats were for the Super Bowl last year.
Weren't that great?
No, 13 for 23 for 141 yards. Like, that's... Yeah.
I mean, preferably... Preferably, what would you have liked to have seen last year? Because I know we can do this with most sports. We can do this with most teams. The story rewriting itself. Look at the Cavs last year.
Yeah.
Had they lost to the Raptors,
the story got written and rewritten a number of times last year.
I mean, we went from beating a Hawks team behind the arc at a game in which they, the year before, if you can remember, kind of developed themselves with Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague and Schroeder and Millsap and even Al Horford at times.
Yeah.
When they tried to do that last season, it didn't work because everybody was too concerned about, okay, we have a point guard position in which, Jeff Teague and Dennis Schroeder, they're kind of the same player. They're kind of the same person. We only want one. That's what the Hawks... And the Hawks knew that Schroeder's younger. So they wanted to develop him. They let Teague go. Now he's with the Pacers. Yeah. But, I mean, you look at how sports end up. What if the Panthers won the Super Bowl? What would happen? Would Cam Newton be considered a Hall of Famer right now? Would that Panthers defense be what the Broncos defense is now with Luke Kuechly? And Josh Norman would have re-signed,
I think Norman obviously would have re-signed with the Panthers had they won the Super Bowl.
I think for a few,
I kind of feel like what we should do. Like I feel like we can go to a commercial break, and then I kind of want to take like that idea of Cam Newton. If he had won the Super Bowl, would he have been a Hall of Famer?
Yeah,
I kind of want to do that for the next.
Okay,
after the commercial.
Okay,
so
let's go to commercial break.
All right. So once again, you're listening to Beyond Question with Matt Bossman, DJ JR, and I am DJ Grizzly, and we'll see you in a moment.
For the 6th year, Lakeland has been designated as a military-friendly school by GI Jobs magazine. The list honors Lakeland as one of the top 15 colleges, universities, and trade schools, which do the most to embrace America's student veterans and ensure that they succeed on campus. Lakeland is also a Service Members Opportunity College approved by the State Approving Agency for Veterans. Lakeland's inclusion on the 2015 list of military-friendly schools was based on a criteria such as class flexibility, which includes evening classes, online classes, and weekend classes. Also, military-specific support services, ability for veterans groups, and networking.
Lakeland Community College. Opportunity starts here. Earn your associate degree or technical certificate on your schedule. Convenient day, evening, weekend, and online classes are available at an affordable price. Visit lakelandcc.edu.
Watch us live at www.livestream.com/lakeeffect.
Sometimes the things we take for granted suddenly become really important. I always thought Lakeland was for someone else. Then I lost my job. I realized I needed to learn more in today's job market. I needed Lakeland. Lakeland gets you ready for good new jobs. It'll fit your schedule and you can afford it. Lakeland really comes through for us. In Lake County, opportunity starts here at Lakeland.
Welding, Manufacturing, and Engineering Technologies Discovery Day on Thursday, October 13th, 2016 from 3 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 7 p.m. in the Lakeland Community College E-Building. Start building your future. Meet with professors and instructors, talk to current students, and learn about job outlooks and program information. During the events, you can talk with professors, pick up information about welding, manufacturing, and all engineering technology programs in the E-Building lobby from 3 to 4 and 6 to 7. The breakout sessions will be located in T143 from 3 to 4 p.m. be about computer-aided design and mechanical engineering technology, and 143 again from 6 to 7 p.m. talking about computer-aided design, and from 3:45 to 7 in room 142, electronic engineering technology and nuclear engineering technology. In room T129 from 3 to 4 and 6 to 7 will be industrial welding. There will be free coffee, pizza, and refreshments, free and open to the public. If you can't make it that day, contact Sheila Billiter at 440-525-7348 or sbilliter2@lakelandcc.edu for more information.
Employer on campus, now hiring. Visiting Angels Assisted Living Service. Looking for LPNs, RNs, retired nurses are welcome, caregivers, STNAS, HHAS. Thursday, October 6th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in E-Building Bookstore Hallway. Dress professionally and bring your resume.
And welcome back. All right, so right before commercial break, we were talking about how I wanted to bring up the whole, if Cam Newton had won a Super Bowl, would he be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's actually a very good question.
Okay.
No, he's not a Hall of Famer, just with one Super Bowl.
Okay.
Not at all.
Now,
there's no reason why he should be.
You can have the floor. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But just, yes, he is probably the greatest running quarterback of all time, Cam Newton.
Okay.
He still has a long time to go, but he has only been in for barely 5 years. It's just, I would say give him at least another couple years, and if he's still keeping up with the amount of rushing touchdowns he's been getting, if he develops better as a quarterback too, then absolutely he's a Hall of Famer. But right now, no.
Josh, what do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, just with every single point, or just do you feel like there's Matt, I'm not sure how you would feel about that.
I think we like to do this with a lot of athletes. We like to, you see LeBron win his first championship with the Heat, and immediately he's a Hall of Famer. You see, Kobe retire, and we know he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
We know that for sure because Kobe proved that over his career.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cam Newton would be in the argument. I don't necessarily think that they would be having more things like this, more discussions for Cam Newton. I believe that, your team credits your career, meaning Josh Norman would have re-signed with the Panthers had they won the Super Bowl. People would immediately click in their head that idea of this team can repeat because they have every piece of the puzzle that they need. They have the wide receivers. They have the quarterback in Cam Newton. They have the defense in Luke Kuechly and Josh Norman. They draft well every year. This team is going to run the table. And so, in my opinion, I believe that Cam Newton would have been in that argument. I believe that people would have been talking about it. I don't think it would have been put into motion immediately. I don't think that the committee who makes that decision would be thinking, when Cam Newton retires in 2023, 2024, 2025, whenever that may be, that immediately after that he would be up for the award. I don't think so.
Let's put it this way: if he had won a Super Bowl, it helps.
Yeah,
tremendously.
Oh yeah,
like right now, like if he wins even one Super Bowl within the next 5 years, I'd say he's in.
Okay.
But right now he hasn't won a Super Bowl, so I'll say that no.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
I think last season was the Peyton Manning season. I think it was the storybook.
Yeah, Peyton. People were thinking, Peyton, he has to retire soon.
Oh yeah, and what a way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Win a Super Bowl.
It has to be once you knew that the Broncos were in it, it's Peyton is going to retire after this Super Bowl. It didn't really matter.
How salty were the Colts last year after the Super Bowl? How do you think? I mean, Andrew Luck kind of disappeared.
Yeah,
last year.
That's the unfortunate part is Andrew Luck didn't necessarily have as good a year as he could have, because Andrew Luck, of course, was supposed to be the next one for Indianapolis. And I wish him I wish that he does amazingly well, because Indianapolis needs it. After what happened with Peyton Manning, they need to have a quarterback that's I'm going to put this team on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I will go win it for you.
That brings up a good point about Andrew Luck. Tim, if you're listening, I traded you Andrew Luck for Tom Brady. That was a steal on my part.
It says Russell Wilson would like to argue with that one. Talking about the rushing game, or or talking about Super Bowls? Because if you're talking Super Bowls, Newton.
Okay.
Okay.
But Tim, since you are listening, I got to tell you, I'm very happy to have Tom Brady now on my fantasy team instead of Andrew Luck, who last week, if you can remember, couldn't do it again for Indianapolis. Andrew Luck is officially labeled in my book not clutch. He cannot finish football games like Peyton Manning could in Indianapolis. I am not seeing this Andrew Luck. Where's the luck? Where's the luck? Where is the spark? Where's the magic that we were supposed to see? This kid coming out of Stanford, this quarterback, this mold of a football player that was supposed to develop into a beautiful art piece in Indianapolis. We're not seeing it. Do something about it or get rid of him. I don't know what Indianapolis is going to do after this season. They signed him to a long deal. That was the worst decision they could have made, and they're showing it right now. He is, unless Indianapolis decides, we're going to turn this thing around, are they giving Luck too much freedom? Or are they, because they seem to never try to develop their running game. They show,
there's a number of problems with the Colts running game.
Yeah, they have the defense. Good.
Ever since they lost Edgerrin James.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, yeah. Josh, what do you think about the Colts with what's going on with them?
I really don't know. Not really sure.
You think Andrew Luck is going to be good for the future for the Colts, or do you think they should move on after this year?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell at this point. He's still young. You know, he's just progressed into what would you say, his third or fourth season?
Yeah.
Yeah, same with RG3. He was same draft year.
Yeah.
Same draft year.
So.
I just think, and that brings me to a good point. I would still say I would have Andrew Luck over RG3.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But for how long are we going to be saying that? Are we going to say they're both busts pretty soon?
Ooh.
Are we going to be saying if Andrew Luck and RG3 is starting on your team and they get injured, that's okay? We're okay with it? Because had Josh McCown not gotten injured for the Browns, we would have a little shot to win over 5-6 games. We would have a nice little team. Granted, Corey Coleman doesn't get hurt and Josh Gordon doesn't go to rehab. This team, 7-9 wins. I mean, we could have had a really good team. The team trusted McCown. The team doesn't trust RG3. The team doesn't like him because RG3's too
injury prone.
Not only that, but his personality is all about
looking good.
Looking good.
Like being a nice guy type thing.
Yeah, the nice guy, the humble.
Yeah.
I understand it because I'm just like him, a Christian.
Okay.
But there's a point where he should have said, football on a football team is my goal. I'm not going to talk about anything other than football, and I'm going to talk about team. He doesn't talk about team. He talks about him. Humble, nice, my personality, not the personality of the team, my way. We're going to do things my way, and trust me, it'll work. But he's not the coach. That's why it didn't work in Washington.
All right. Okay.
So, and that's why Shanahan kind of got a bad rap, because we're seeing it right now. Hugh Jackson said, I can develop a quarterback. You can't develop somebody that thinks they're already developed.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah. You can't develop somebody who feels like they don't need to be developed anymore.
Now, Tim is saying Andrew Luck is not a bust, but yet RG3 is. I would say give RG3 another year. Maybe not here, but somewhere else.
I feel like the best, unless there's extenuating circumstances, you can't call somebody a bust until after 5 years they've been in the league.
Okay. Well, Jamarcus Russell was pretty quick.
Yeah. I know. I was like, that's extenuating circumstances.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on from the NFL. Let's go to the NBA because we only have about 10, 15 minutes left. Let's talk about the preseason got underway these last couple of days. The Oklahoma City Thunder, a big headline, they lost to Real Madrid in Spain. They're doing a Spain series. They beat FC Barcelona yesterday, and it sounds like they're playing soccer. They're not.
Okay.
And they lost to Real Madrid in overtime, 140-something to 139. I think it was 142, 139.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing a thing like one of the Madrid players had like a last-minute shot, like a last-minute three-pointer.
Yeah.
Got the win there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy game to watch. I watched the highlights, and it's eminent that KD's not there. We're seeing it, but we're seeing the effects. But looking at all the free agency moves, Josh, you brought up during the break, Dwight Howard going to the Hawks, Al Horford going to the Celtics.
Right.
The Cavs, like I told you yesterday, doing absolutely nothing in free agency.
Yeah.
The Warriors making the big splash again. What are we going to see this year with all these free agent signings? Is this just a big fluke and everyone's going to be the same? And I'll give you guys my surprise team, and I want to hear yours. What's going on this year? What's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd want to start that. I'm not like surprise teams. How do you feel?
They're not going to play.
Yeah, they're not the Hurricanes is going to affect the game. Like they just won't play it.
Yeah, Tim is asking, how do you feel Hurricane Matthew will affect the Miami Dolphins game? Well, I'm sorry, Florida, because my first name's Matthew. I guess they named it after me. Yeah. I am a hurricane type of person. Yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway,
like wrecking everything. Yes.
Yeah, wrecking everything.
Anyway,
so back to the NBA. Josh, what do you think?
I think the surprise team could possibly even be Oklahoma City. You never know. They can I don't know if they can make a deep run. They can potentially make a run with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, the first team that popped in my head when you were talking about like underdog teams, Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's like I don't necessarily think very highly of them, but
I can't. I'll tell you my surprise team. First of all, I'll say this team made.
Wait, is DeMarcus Cousins still on the Kings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they're not going to do well.
Yeah, they're not going to do well. They won't.
Like Cousins is just in a bad spot in Sacramento.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there. Willie Cauley-Stein is the center of that team.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Oh, we answered it, Tim. There's
like which questions
the Hurricane Matthew question,
or talking about what's more important, being clutch or getting the points you're supposed to in fantasy. I think that's the question. All
right, let's finish the NBA,
finish NBA, and then go back.
And then we'll go back to Tim's question. So here's my thing. Obviously, the Warriors made the best signing, getting KD.
Yeah,
but
that was a coup.
The nicest looking team in my eyes, besides the Warriors, are the Indiana Pacers. I think the Pacers made a huge improvement on their team. You have Jeff Teague coming over from the Hawks. They got rid of George Hill, who was okay, but he never really... he's not Kyrie, he's not Curry, he's not Jeff Teague. He's just George Hill, which isn't... You can't really do anything with George Hill. Yeah. That's why he's on the Jazz. Here's the thing. Think about it. Jeff Teague, Monte Ellis, Paul George, Thaddeus Young, and Al Jefferson. And then you're looking at a team in which they work. I mean, they're going to click. Paul George is still on that path to recovery from that injury, and he has been spectacular.
Paul George is a spectacular player. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the Pacers are probably a good pick.
Yeah.
Like
they'll compete
team.
with the Cavs. They will.
Oh yeah.
They'll compete with the Cavs.
I can totally see that. Another possible, again, you could also say the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks are going to look nicer.
But
I don't know if Howard fits there, but
no,
I don't think they can do much.
No, because the thing is, Howard changes the look of that team. Because as you were talking before, they became we want to develop the 3-pointer team.
Okay.
Dwight Howard is not a guy who wants to help you develop that 3-point game. Dwight Howard is a guy who's I'm going to sit down in the middle. I am barely going to pass the ball outside, and that's just how Dwight Howard is.
Do you think Dwight Howard,
amazing human being?
Yeah,
but he doesn't help your team develop a new strategy.
See, here's another thing when you bring that up. Here's another thing we could say, just like Cam Newton. If he would have never left the Magic, he would have been almost probably a Hall of Fame player, because when they played the Cavs in the 2009 conference finals, if you can remember that series, and beat the Cavs with a younger Mo Williams, with Zydrunas Ilgauskas, with LeBron, with Varejao, when everybody was kind of in their prime, it seemed like toss the ball up to Dwight. If you can't shoot it, toss it up to him. He'll score it for you. And he'll knock you over in the paint. And he was young. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even at his peaking point of his career where he should be right now.
Yeah.
Which should have happened in Houston. But, unfortunately, his ego is bigger than his game, and he's letting that take full advantage of his career to the point where he is going to be a free agent, and no one's going to want to pick him up, just like Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Manziel has a problem with off-court issues. Howard has a problem with on-court issues.
Yeah.
So we need to find something for Dwight Howard, and hopefully the Hawks and that Spurs of the Eastern Conference can kind of help him and develop him. But I don't know. With that team having so many shooters, it could look like the 09 Magic, or it could look like a bust. We never know. We'll find out.
All right. So before we end the show, we wanted to talk about Tim's other question, which was, what's more important in fantasy, either being clutch or getting the points that you're supposed to be getting?
So if you're... Hello.
I'd like him to answer that.
Okay. Yeah, answer that.
Dun, 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 Josh.
So, I would say being clutch.
You think
the
being
best
clutch?
Answer.
Okay. Why do you think that?
It really comes down to those final points that you need.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't play the fantasy game as much as I could be. As people know, I'm a big sports fan. But I don't play a lot of fantasy. I feel like my problem is that my players don't tend to get the points that they're supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
And in that, I would much rather have a player who gets the points that they get or projected to have every single week.
See, here's the thing about it is that if you're projected to get 10 points, if you're like C.J. Anderson, one of my running backs, and you get 15 or 16 because you scored a touchdown in the last minute of the game and you won, that is big. But at the same time, a clutch player could be Trevor Coleman, or I think that's his name, Coleman, the backup to Devontae Freeman in Atlanta.
No,
and he
Tavon Coleman, I think.
Tavon Coleman. And he can... he'll score a touchdown, a 1-yard score, and get 7 points.
Yeah.
So when he was projected to get 8, 9. So it depends on the player. It depends on how the player's used. I think being clutch...
Tevin Coleman, there we go.
Tevin Coleman. I think he could be clutch. Well, not just Tevin Coleman, but any player. I think that's important. But I also think scoring points as much as possible... Looking at the quarterback position, Tom Brady right now scheduled or projected to get 19 points for me this week against Cleveland.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Matt and I are currently going head to head this week. So
and I got Gronkowski and Tim. I have Edelman. So Tim wanted Julian Edelman from me, and that's the thing. I think with the whole fantasy thing, it all depends on. Who is that player? Who is it? Andrew Luck, he's not going to be clutch, but he can get you 14, 15 points. Yeah. Tom Brady's clutch, and he can get you 20 points.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute. Tom Brady's only projected to get 19 points? Does it just cap at 19 points?
It says Andrew Luck's going to get 18. That's not going to happen. He'll get 13.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Tom Brady will get about 30 because he'll be throwing for 500 yards.
Yeah, and Gronkowski's going to get at least 11, 12. I mean, we're going to see... a Browns defense that is basically rookies and friends. I mean, it's insane. But we'll see if Hugh Jackson has a few tricks up his sleeve offensively. Yeah. Tim, again, I have Julian Edelman. Would you like to respond to that in the chat? I would love to see that, just to see what you say. But anyway, all right, Josh. What do you? So, Josh, this has been pretty much your first show.
Yeah, it has.
What do you... Well, it is, yeah. It is. I don't know why I said pretty much. Okay, I understand you have David Johnson, Tim, but I have Tom Brady. It doesn't matter. Anyway, David Johnson sucked the past 2 weeks. Anyway, so... it was a great trade on my part. It was huge. Anyway, so...
Anyway.
Josh, with radio, with this station, how do you feel this show's going? How do you feel so far?
I feel it's going great.
Going great?
Okay.
It's going great. I mean, a little shaky at first, but
yeah. Once you get the nerves off,
as I expected.
As I progress through everything, I think I'll get the hang of it.
Okay,
right, cool.
Yeah. Do you understand now? We kind of did a little bit different beyond question.
Yeah, it wasn't more argument based. It was more let's
talk about sports.
Yeah, let's
But-
talk about sports. This is
yeah.
like what we usually do.
Yeah, but usually for the next show, for all of you listening, we're gonna try to do more of like, since we have three.
Like we did have like a little bit more argument based. Like is Cam Newton a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was fine.
And Tim had, a few things to say. He put his 2 cents in, which isn't worth much. David Johnson sucks. He had 22 and 10. Well, that's a 12-point drop off. So, Tim, your point.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we are just about done.
Yeah. All right. So,
Josh, would you like to close us out?
Signing off. This is JMoney.
JMoney.
All right. There we go.
There we go. JMoney. JR dollar sign.
So, along with JMoney, the boss, Matt Bossman, I am DJ Grizzly. This has been Beyond Question on Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio, streaming live on www.livestream.com/lakeeffect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. For you.
The internet is for some becoming an uncontrollable compulsion.
The internet is infected.
Spreading the infection at livestream.com/Lake Effect.
Radio.
My opportunity in rescue